A 14-year-old kid walks onto one of the biggest stages in the world. He grabs the microphone, the first note of a legendary song hits, and in less than 3 minutes, the internet absolutely explodes. But while thousands are hailing him as the second coming of a pop icon, not everyone is convinced. Some people are already predicting his downfall, pointing to a single reason why his journey on The Voice might be over before it even truly begins. The performance by Max Chambers has everyone talking, from his unbelievable voice to his shocking age. But the real debate is raging over whether his incredible talent is a blessing or a curse. We're going to break down the wave of praise, the surprising criticism, and the coach reactions that left everyone speechless. So what is it about this audition that has the public so divided? Before we get into the heart of the debate, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss our breakdowns of the moments everyone is talking about. Now, let's unpack the performance that has stunned the world. The biggest point of contention, and the first thing we need to address, isn't about his voice. It's about his future on the show. Right away, some viewers expressed a healthy dose of skepticism. One person bluntly stated, "He's good, but I smell the elimination next round." This sentiment, though unpopular, popped up more than you'd think. People wondered if a performer so young, with such a specific style, could handle the versatility required in later rounds. Another viewer raised a fascinating point, writing, "It's no longer about who's the best singer on this show anymore." This sparked a debate about whether Max's undeniable charm and charisma were perhaps overshadowing the raw vocal competition. Are the coaches and the audience falling for the personality as much as the performance? Some believe his age and stage presence give him an advantage that other, perhaps technically better singers don't have. A few people even questioned if he should be on the main show at all, with one asking, "Don't they have The Voice kids for this?" They worried that the pressure of competing against seasoned adults might be too much. This leads to the most complex part of the discussion, the ghost of Michael Jackson. From the very first line, the comparison was instantaneous and unavoidable. The comment sections were flooded. "He sounds like Little Michael," one person exclaimed. Another wrote, "OMG, like Lil Michael." The sentiment was everywhere. One viewer was so moved they said, "I was so happy I thought Michael Jackson had been reincarnated." For the vast majority, this was the highest form of praise. People were in awe, feeling he didn't just sing the song. He channeled the spirit of the Jackson 5. Many agreed that Michael himself would be so proud. It was a wave of pure nostalgia, with viewers saying the performance reminds me of the good old days. However, this is where the skeptical viewers found their footing. A recurring thought was whether he was an artist in his own right or a brilliant impersonator. While no one denied the talent, some wondered if he could break away from that comparison. Can he perform a ballad? Can he tackle a country song or a rock anthem? The fear is that being so closely tied to one of the greatest entertainers of all time could ironically limit his own artistry on the show. It's a tightrope walk between tribute and imitation, and some are worried he might not be able to keep his balance in the rounds to come. But let's be clear. While that debate was simmering in the corners of the internet, the main reaction was one of pure, unadulterated shock and joy. And it all started with one simple fact: his age. This was the number one thing that left people completely speechless. The maturity, the control, the confidence, it just didn't compute with his age. You could feel the collective jaw drop online. People expressed disbelief that a voice with such a rich, soulful quality was coming from a teenager. One person summed it up perfectly. "A voice that matures should not be coming out of a body that young. It's incredible." Another added, "He has an old soul." You can't teach that kind of feeling. Once people got over the shock of his age, they began to focus on the sheer force of his charisma. This kid didn't just stand there and sing. He commanded the stage. As one viewer put it, "That little sir just oozes charisma." Another painted a vivid picture. Young boy popped out with so much energy and excitement had the coaches bopping. He was strutting the stage, enchanting the audience and milking the lyrical lines. Well done! This wasn't just a vocal performance. It was a show. People used words like natural performer and great showmanship to describe how he owned every inch of that stage. He wasn't just singing notes. He was telling a story, and his infectious energy was impossible to ignore. It was, as many simply put it, cuteness overload. Beyond the talent and the stage presence, Another layer of the performance captured the hearts of thousands: his personality. In a world of high-stakes competition, Max's humility and respectfulness shone through. Many people pointed out his manners. One viewer noted, "He calls everyone sir and ma'am," which led to a flood of appreciation for his upbringing. Someone else wrote, "Oh, he's so adorable and Snoop is right. Those parents did a good job of raising him." It was a small detail that made a huge impact. In a high-pressure moment, his character was just as impressive as his voice. Viewers described him as adorable, charming, well-mannered, and a natural performer. And speaking of parents, the camera caught a glimpse of his father in the audience, and it became a heartwarming moment for everyone watching at home. "Dad just groovin'. Proud papa," one person wrote with a smile. It was a reminder that behind the incredible talent on stage was a proud family supporting him every step of the way. Of course, we can't talk about a blind audition without talking about the coaches. The reactions from the coaches were almost as entertaining as the performance itself. When Reba McEntire and Michael Bublé spun their chairs, their faces said it all. It was a mixture of confusion, shock, and pure delight. Viewers loved watching the moment the coaches realized the powerhouse voice belonged to a 14-year-old. Someone pointed out, "You know an audition is special when even a legend like Reba is left with her jaw on the floor." Another viewer focused on Bublé, saying his expression was simply priceless. The coaches weren't just judging. They were genuine fans in that moment, bopping along just like the audience. The banter that followed was just as engaging. The coaches immediately started fighting for him, and the online community began to debate his best choice. Some felt the classic, soulful vibe of Bublé would be a perfect fit. Others argued that the queen of country, Reba, could offer him a unique perspective and help him grow beyond his comfort zone. The fight to get him on their team was a testament to how special they knew he was. As one person declared, "The winner." So, what's the final takeaway from Max Chambers' explosive debut on The Voice? While there's a small but vocal group of people who are cautiously optimistic, worried about the pressures of the show, and the giant shadow of his Michael Jackson comparison, the overwhelming public sentiment is one of absolute awe. This audition was more than just a great vocal performance. It was a moment of pure joy that made people smile. It was a dose of nostalgia that took people back to the good old days. And it was a stunning reminder that incredible talent can come in the most unexpected packages. He's charismatic, incredibly skilled for his age, and refreshingly respectful. Max Chambers didn't just get the coaches to turn their chairs. He got the entire internet to turn its head and pay attention. The journey ahead will be tough, and the critics are right that he'll have to prove his versatility. But one thing is for sure. Millions of people will be tuning in to see what he does next. What did you think of the performance? Was it one of the best blind auditions you've ever seen? And who do you think is the right coach to guide him through this competition? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you have to say.